Fatman, I'm Batman, I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernard.
Hey! Oh my God, I should have savored that a little more. It's the last time we'll ever say it, man.
I know.
Let's do it one more, take two. I can do this, I'm a director. I do this shit all the time. We'll just do another take. Welcome to Fatman on Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernard.
Very, very bittersweet, but all good things come to an end, Mark, as we all know. And I'm shocked we made it as far as we did without Warner Brothers being like, fuck you. I mean, it was really iffy during the Justice League period, too, man.
Because we did not love that movie.
Well, you really didn't. So, if anything, I was like, they're going to come for him first. But they were very cool. They never, even now, there's never, like, I just hosted a thing for them last week, the launch of DC Universe. They had a live stream and stuff. It was wonderful. And nobody came over to be like, you know you don't own that character, right? Like, you know, so it was nice of them, but sooner or later, the axe would fall. And then couple that with the fact that, like, a lot of people were like, you've lost too much weight, it's false advertising. So felt like it was time to change. And we talked about it last week, that the largest suggestion from the internet from multiple parties was Fatman Beyond, which, like, we both fell in love with. I threw it off to Jeff Quigley this week, our master artist. He came up with a really cool show, piece of artwork and stuff. So we felt like, all right, what's the point? We were waiting. Yeah, we were thinking like maybe we'll wait till January and shit, but we're like, why? Like, what episode is the last one? Was 319 or something?
229.
229. So that makes this one 230?
Yes.
All right, so the last Fatman on Batman will be 230, and then from 231 on, it'll be Fatman Beyond. The next live show we're going to do on Batman Day, which is September 15th. It's a Saturday, which we rarely do the show on a Saturday, so mark your calendars, man. That will be the official launch of Fatman Beyond, which, as a title, I think works on a couple different levels. Not only as a nod to, of course, the Batman universe and stuff, which spawned the show, but, you know, it is kind of like Fatman Beyond. Not just like, hey, he's beyond a fat man now or something like that, but it started as one thing and it's gone beyond that. It's become something different and stuff. Thoughts?
Are we going to renumber? Because it's so fucking comic book to do that.
I know, but it's what a pain in the ass that is, you know? And people were like, are you going to keep it on the same stream? Do we have to rejoin and stuff? No, we'll just change the name within the stream. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not like, you know, ooh, I've got episode 1 in a poly bag with fucking cardboard, you know, you can't collect it or something like that. So
you say that, and some motherfucker will show up with like an acetate pressing of Fatman Beyond #1.
No doubt. I don't know. I think we'll keep it the same.
But here's the upshot though. Like in 2 years, we can go back to the original numbering, and then it's a big fucking deal.
Oh man, they got you. Those comic book people ruined you, man. Next you'll be trying to sell me on chromium covers, man. No way.
Can you show us on the doll where they hurt you?
It is. It's weird to see it kind of. Well, I mean, it doesn't come to an end. We just evolve into something else and stuff. And there, you know, it certainly gets rid of any pending legal action by dropping the Batman from the title and stuff. But somebody pointed out on Twitter, like, aside from that, this doesn't solve your problem at all. There's still Fatman in the title. But I'm like, no, it's Fatman Beyond.
You're missing the second word.
Yeah. There's 2 words in the equation. So next time we do it, it'll be that. But for now, let's enjoy the last time. It's bittersweet.
It is. And of course, we will fuck up our intro like 98 times going forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Welcome to Fatman on Batman. Oh, shit. This is like going on like a final date with your boyfriend and or girlfriend before you go off to college.
And
how
many fucking people are on this date?
A lot of us.
My boyfriend and my girlfriend, and we're all going off for dinner.
I figured for like the modern youth.
Okay.
They probably, they're omnivorous when it comes to fucking, so they probably have both girlfriends and boyfriends. I was covering all the bases.
It's beyond for me, man.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like the right time. All right, but it is kind of weird to see the end of one era and stuff. I also reserve the right to. We could still, if we ever, like, people are always bitching, like, do fucking interviews like you used to do and stuff like that. Those are fun, but I honestly enjoy this incarnation of the show much more and stuff. But if they're ever down the line, sit downs with people and stuff, we'll put those specifically. Now the title gets to go back to the interview format. So if we ever sit down in my house in the formerly Fat Cave with guests who've worked on Batman that fall into the traditional definition of what the show used to be, then those episodes will be called Fatman on Batman. But this, Fatman Beyond.
So now it's like an imprint now. Like you're just going to do, it's like, when we do the throwback episodes, those will be the old thing. This is a new thing. Like, it's absolutely a lenticular cover version of what that used to be.
A little bit. And wait till we get to our third incarnation when we're in our 80s. Fat Man Forever.
Kevin, should we do the Dark Knight commentary track now?
Did you say the Grim Knight as in the Grim Reaper?
I'm your Black Racer, Kevin.
Black Racer. Excellent pull. All right, so yeah, there's many more incarnations to come and stuff. But this incarnation will still function the same way they've all functioned. We'll chit-chat a little bit before we dive into the news. What you been working on?
I was on vacation over Labor Day weekend.
What was that like?
It was kind of boss. It really was. It was a little too. Hooray! I went to San Francisco for the weekend and tried my best to have the nerdiest time that I possibly could while I was there. So I went to Alcatraz, as one does.
Right.
And almost every place I went, I just kept on going, "Welcome to the Rock." I fuck the prom queen. Womack, you piece of shit. And like
those poor fuckers who work at Alcatraz must be subjected to millions of Sean Connery impressions.
Oh, dude.
Whenever anyone goes to visit, everyone's like, "Welcome to the Run." They're like, "Fuck again, man."
I got the most like pained, polite smiles. Like, "Oh, you think you're the first one? Oh, adorable. Yes, welcome to the Rock. I'm sure you saw a movie once. I get it."
You have to probably come with a line that people are like, "What's that?" And you're like, "The Rock," and they're like, "Oh shit, that's from The Rock," and then you start a conversation or something like that. That's awesome.
Are you
what
aware
else?
of the etymology of your name? Goodspeed.
You better go back to the first line. I didn't know if that's from The Rock.
Deep fucking cut.
Totally.
If
For all
you're
I
in the
knew,
mood-
that was from fucking Hunt for Red
If
October.
you're in the mood for a good trip, might I suggest St. Lawrence Cathedral in Topeka, Kansas?
Is that from the movie?
Totally is. His like last fucking lines as he sends him to the Zapruder film, I think. Do you want to see who killed Kennedy?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You remember a lot about that fucking movie, man.
I do. And you know who was not impressed? Every guard at the fucking Alcatraz prison. They could give a fuck that I saw a movie 18 times before I showed up on The Rock.
I rewatched Sneakers last night because I think either we mentioned it or maybe I mentioned it with Mosier on a podcast or Brian Johnson, I forget, but somewhere Sneakers had popped up. And I remember that day, I was like, fuck, I'm going to rewatch that shit. And then I rewatched it last night, and I had a fucking good time. Although I will admit, halfway through it, it's like, is this how you want to spend your fucking life? Like, you almost died. Do you just want to rewatch movies you've seen 100 times? And the answer was yes. Yeah. So I'm obviously on the right path. So, but now when we just spent enough time on The Rock where I'm sitting here going like, I know what I'm watching when I get home tonight. I'm gonna check all those lines and see how close he got.
Yeah, I went to Chinatown for dinner. I mean, I ate like tomorrow was a rumor when I was in San Francisco because that's what you fucking do.
Right.
So I went to Chinatown and had a whole lot of like, China is here, Mr. Burton. What the fuck do you mean China is here?
Did they not get the reference?
None of them did because, it turns out that like a black dude making Big Trouble in Little China references in Chinatown was like, really? Like, this is like 2 steps too racist for us. Maybe you should get back on your bus, egg.
Then what happened?
Then I went to Muir Woods, where they shot all the Endor shit in Marin County, the giant redwood forest that is just over the Golden
You
Gate
can do
Bridge.
that? You can just go? It's
Totally.
free or something?
It's free.
like that?
Super free.
Really?
Yeah, both Endor and
Is
all
there
the-
an entrance, or is it just like,
There's-
we're here?
Look, all over the woods.
Yeah, like every
No,
wood.
there's this huge fucking mountain road. You got to climb up and over and down. You got to call ahead to get parking reservations because
So this was the thing.
it's a fucking thing. And there's a beautiful trail that leads you through, and they don't point out like, here's where fucking Wicket got shot. I wish they would, but they didn't. But you could still you're on Endor. For all intents and purposes, you are on Endor. And also where the monkeys ran to in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Same woods?
Same woods. They go over the Golden Gate Bridge, which also super cool. And then they swing their way into the woods, and then Caesar, ape no kill ape.
Didn't
Apes
and also
together strong.
didn't in the third X-Men movie that what's his name directed? They were hiding in those woods because then he fucked with the bridge,
Yeah, yeah.
Magneto and shit.
It's
God,
pretty
those
awesome.
woods have featured prominently in a
They
lot
really
of fucking
have.
movies.
So, yeah.
What else did you do while you were in San Francisco? That sounds like a packed plate, though.
It really was. I took a super expensive trolley ride, cable car ride, because it's like $7 a person. So I went with my family. So it was like $28 to get on the fucking trolley and take it to like 5 blocks at the end of the stop. Another $28 to get back on the fucking trolley to take it back to our car. Like, well, I'm not gonna walk up this fucking hill. Have you seen these hills? Bullshit. Should we get an Uber to go back to the car? Like, that feels weird. There's a cable car right there, guys. I ate a bread bowl full of clam chowder because you have to do that.
Is that part of the San
That's
Francisco
part of the experience.
Even before my diet change, I was not a seafood guy. I grew up in a seafood town, so I've never eaten seafood in my entire life. Just fucking smells like home.
And I escaped at a young age.
Yeah, and I liked the home, but I was just never. My father ate fish all the time, so I saw it, and the consistency really fucked with me. Because I'm like, it looks like Jell-O, but it's a meat. Fuck this.
And then we drove home, like we flew up and then we rented a car and drove back home so we could drive
How
from
long is
California
that?
coast. To do it the way we did it, which is to see all of the fucking shit along the coast, it's about 10 hours. There's a beeline on the 101, you could do it in 6, but then all you see is the 101, and what's the point?
That's true. I've done that one.
And I did not get fired on my drive back home, which the last time I was in San Francisco with my wife, I got fired on my way back to LA.
Who fired you?
Entertainment Weekly did.
Seriously?
Yeah, nine years ago. I went for my 10th anniversary trip, and it was awesome because I was still working at EW, and I called like a couple of publicist friends. I'm like, hey, Lucasfilm, you know what would be awesome? If I could come to your ranch and see shit. And they were like, of course you can. Come on, we'll give you a tour. And then we'll go to the Presidio and do the ILM thing, and then we'll drive by the Black Rock, and you could wave at animators who never see the light of day. And we can show you all the cool shit, and it was amazing. And I got to touch the fertility idol, which I talked about before, that I would buy if I could, but
Right.
they don't ever sell. And my wife got pregnant. Fancy that.
After you touched the fertility god?
Yeah. And it was phenomenal. And I was driving back to LA to continue like the last button of my vacation, and I got a call while I'm like the fucking just past Big Sur. I pull over and it's like, hey, so I know you're on vacation, but we just want to let you know we're laying you off. And I said, why did you have to call me today? I'd have waited till I got home. You could lay me off when I show back at work on Monday and be like, fuck you. But no, they called me on my vacation. They said, well, we're laying off a bunch of people, and we have to contractually notify everybody at the same time, so it's not showing some kind of preference versus one person over another. So, sorry, enjoy the rest of your vacation.
I'll try.
I'm like, but the force was with me like 5 minutes ago. I touched the fertility. God damn it. All right.
Fertility fucking, you touched the fertility god. He took your ass to the Temple of Doom.
Really did.
Got the movie wires crossed, man. It was your last crusade, motherfucker.
I got Num Shivide right out of a job.
It was just we had a TV show up till about a minute ago called Comic Book Men, and AMC let me know that it was canceled on the day of my anniversary. I was in New York with my wife and shit, and I got a text from somebody. It was just like, you around? And I wanted to text back, yeah, but not for bad news. It's my anniversary. Instead, I just like wrote, yeah. And then they said, you want to call? And I said, oh man, this ain't ever good. And I was like, okay. And the call was, yeah, hey, you know, fucking we love you guys, but not enough. And and so, you know, I fucking, but for me, it wasn't like, oh, this ruins everything. We, you know, 7 seasons, 96 episodes. I had nothing to bitch about, and I expected that call at the end of season 1. So the fact that, you know, we'd gone 6 more seasons before they made that call was everything. But it was weird. You know, I told my wife, she's like, they had to tell you today? And I was like, don't worry, I'm still gonna fuck. That's up to you.
It's all I have left.
Yeah, really. I ain't got a job to worry about, so I got plenty of time to fuck.
Yeah, I remember before I left on that vacation, my the number 2, I was working for the website at the time. It's like, hey, what's your cell phone number? I'm like, why do you want to know? I don't know, just to have it for the files. And then that motherfucker calls to lay me off. I'm like, you motherfucker, now I know why you needed my cell phone number.
Yeah.
Lose that shit. I don't want any more calls from you.
They're like, no problem now, click.
Yeah. And now anytime I go on vacation, I'm like, you don't get to have my number. I'm going off the grid. Any bad news can wait for me when I get home. Fuck you, job. Goodbye.
Very, very smart. Treadstone's like, we'll leave him alone till he gets home.
Yeah, I gotta, like, why doesn't my pass work? What the fuck?
I can't get on the lot. Hence, I can't spy on Game of Thrones. How's that going?
The spying on Game of Thrones? Not well.
Moving on.
Not well. I mean, I'm trying. Like, every time it's like, hey, guys, what you dragons?
It'd be funny if somewhere they're doing a podcast where they're like, we're trying to spy on Treadstone.
Like, all you gotta do is bring brownies. We'll let you in. These motherfuckers have cameras and retinal scans and thumbprints and urinary tract infection. Yeah, it's, you don't believe what they want to touch.
It's like
for
Marvel.
You to get in there.
Really? Marvel level security.
Very much so.
Which I believe has a lot of cough involved in it.
Using the whole fist, Doc?
Speaking of fucking Marvel security, man, it's getting lax because Brie Larson just tweeted before, a couple hours ago, before the show began, hey, EW, want to break the internet tomorrow?
Very subtle.
Very, very subtle, and very, you know, I thought immediately, I was like, oh my God, they're going to debut a trailer for sequel to Room. But then I realized when EW tweeted her back, like, that would be marvelous. I started thinking to myself, this could have something to do with Captain Marvel. And I was just thinking the other day, it's been a minute, you know, other than the release of Infinity War on home video, it's been a minute since we've been hyped for the next movie.
It's been quiet on the Marvel front.
Yeah, what's that about?
I mean, I think some of it is because the world is going so fast that I realized the other day, thanks to my shirt, that Black Panther was out this year. Like, it feels like Black Panther was 48 years ago.
Yeah. It's February, right?
Yeah, like, remember that time we were all excited about that movie and then it came and we were super fucking thrilled, and now that seems like that was the, like, Mesozoic era according
You ain't
to
kidding,
culture.
man. We've got a lot more choices now, but, like, the shelf life is way shorter than it ever was before. It's like the shelf life of fucking milk on most shit, where it's like, you didn't see that? It's fucking spoiled. Move on, man. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. Black Panther feels kind of, not old, but like, oh, that happened last year. But
And it's easy to
forget.
forget that, like, Ant-Man and the Wasp ever came out.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's right, we got that in fucking August, right?
Yeah, and it was fun, too. It
July,
wasn't like, oh,
August?
it's forgettable. It was like a good time.
And it made
shit.
like $400 million. Like, it did well, but it just, poof.
I finally saw 2 movies this week. I caught up with a movie in the theater, and I was kind of pissed off because, not pissed off, but like my wife was, I've been trying to fucking see Jurassic World, the Fallen Kingdom, since it came out. I don't make apologies. I like a good dinosaur movie. So, and I trust that brand. That's like the Coca-Cola of dinosaur movies. Like, you know exactly what you're gonna get. Tried and true, tested formula. They tried new Coke once. That was Jurassic Park 3. They went back to the classic fucking formula and shit like that. So I was looking forward to it, but I couldn't get anybody to go with me and shit. My wife's like, I ain't gonna see that. So finally, you know, it was Labor Day weekend. I'm like, God damn it, I'm the laborer. Like, I want to celebrate. Now I want to celebrate is I want to go see Jurassic World. And she was like, you could have asked for anything. You asked for that. And I was like, that's all I want. So she went with me to go see it. And while we were driving, she's just like, I don't even know why we're doing this. It's going to be on home video like any minute. I was like, bullshit. It's on home video today. Could have watched this shit from the comfort of my bed on a giant TV. But you know what? I'm a director, so going to see a movie in a movie theater, you know, fucking every once in a while, you still got to do it.
Also, how far did you have to go to find that in the fucking theater? Like to Pacoima?
I mean,
which I don't even know where that is. It sounds far.
It sounds far.
Like John McClane would confuse it for another closer town.
I had to go. I went very close. I lived very close to the Grauman's Chinese Theater, and so they had like one show per day of it there. And I was like, that must be because it's huge. And, you know, admittedly, the movie came out, in May or some shit? So I'm a little behind. I enjoyed it, though. But fucking, have I seen anything sadder in a movie theater this year than the lone dinosaur on the dock who's like, what the fuck? Ooh, like, oh my God. And they milk the shit out of it. Everyone on the boat is like, I'm like, turn the fuck around. Oh my God, that was fucking heartbreaking, man. I looked over at my wife and she was like, asshole. I was like, that shit was well done. And then I finally did see something sadder in a movie theater. I went to see Christopher Robyn. Holy fuck. What emotional larceny this shit is, man. Oh my God, you get in. And before the movie begins, they hit you with that fucking Dumbo trailer where they're like, cry, fuck, you know? And my kid is like, I begged my kid to go with me. She's like, that movie's gonna make me cry. I was like, that's why we're doing it, man. We're gonna mainline, totally, we're gonna mainline emotion and shit like that. It's a privilege if a movie lets you fucking cry and shit. Let's go do it. So I sold her on that angle. And she loves fucking Disney, but she'd been avoiding that movie because she doesn't want to fucking cry. My wife won't go at all. She's like, I don't need to fucking pay like twice for a movie. Like, you pay your ticket and my ticket to watch you fucking cry the whole way through. I'll watch you do it when it's on home video for free and shit. So I convinced my kid to go with me, and she brought her boyfriend with her. And so we're watching the flick. They hit that Dumbo trailer. The kid has avoided it at all costs because she knows it'll kill her. She's loved elephants her whole fucking life and shit like that. She just never even seen the Dumbo cartoon. She doesn't even know the movie, but she knows the beats, and she knows it'll fucking destroy her emotionally. The kid's soft, Mark, very soft. So they're playing the Dumbo trailer, and I'm sitting in this chair. She's next to me. Corey's next to her. And the trailer begins with like, Baby Mine, like a really haunting fucking rendition of Baby Mine. All I hear from the left is, ooh! She's literally turned away from the movie, refusing to watch it and shit. I'm like, it's the trailer. And then she kept looking away. She wouldn't look and shit. And finally, like, I've seen the trailer online, so I knew when they were going to show that motherfucker. And like, it's the biggest cute bomb you've ever seen in your life. Like, the digital Dumbo looks adorable, amazing. Those eyes and shit. Oh, fuck. So I was like, I know if she sees this elephant, she's going to wail, man. So as it was coming up, they put him up on the fucking podium right before he fucking flies and shit like that. Spoilers. And and I was like, look, oh my God, look. And she looks up at the screen right at the perfect moment. And she was like, no! And she fucking... So she was destroyed before fucking, Christopher Robyn even began and shit. And in the beginning of Christopher Robyn, you saw it or no?
No.
In the beginning of it, it's really wonderful. But in the beginning of it, they do the, like, kind of, in comic book speak, they do the last story. Like, the story, and it didn't happen in any of the real Pooh books, but the story of Christopher Robyn when he says goodbye to everyone in the 100 Acre Woods because he's going off to boarding school. And they're all like, boarding school, oh, bother, and shit like that. And so they do the smartest shit in the world. They open the movie with talking Pooh and Piglet. Like, they established that shit from the first scene. They don't make you wait for it, because that's what I was paying for. I was like, show me these fucking talking animals. Like, oh God, they look adorable. They look plush. I'll buy every one if you show me them right now and shit. And I thought I'd have to wait 20 minutes in, but fucking they just, like, it's like opening Disney title and shit, and then plow, man, they show him hanging out with everybody, having a party. It's going away party. Everything's misspelled and shit because they think animals are stupid. And so, and you know, he's like saying goodbye and shit like that. And then they take the artwork. Now, if A.A. Milne, he wrote the stories, right? Yes. He didn't draw those little renderings. That was somebody else. I think the other person that's credited. Whenever I think of Winnie the Pooh and those drawings that aren't the Disney drawings, I think of the name A.A. Milne, but that's the writer, so I should really learn the fucking dude who drew the original Pooh. In the opening credits, they use that artwork from the House of Pooh Corner and all those books and stuff, and show the growth of Christopher Robin. So they're like, chapter 1 in which Christopher Robin says goodbye to his friends. Chapter 2 in which Christopher Robin begins an adventure at boarding school. Chapter 3 in which Christopher Robin receives terrible news, finds out his father dies and stuff. So they chart his life. And then while it's going on, periodically they cut back to the 100-acre wood, and Pooh is looking at the door that Christopher Robin used to come through, waiting for him. Holy fuck, dude. First one of those shots, I was like, oh no. And they show the door getting covered and old and shit, like Christopher Robin ain't coming back, and they love this fucker. All the animals in the 100-acre, he's like their Jesus. So he's a big figure in all their lives, and him not being there is a big fucking problem and shit. So, but in the real world, this is something they did that I was fucking fascinated by. To tell the story of adult Christopher Robin, like, how could you forget these talking fucking animals? Like, who forgets Winnie the Pooh? Who forgets Piglet? Who the fuck grows up and shit? Like, you know, oh my God, I used to hang out with a fucking owl who spoke to me. Like, you would never leave that shit behind. But they come up with a plausible reason why he left it all behind. They show him as a soldier in World War II, like fucking gunfire going off, and he's like, we need help. Like, they don't show him killing anybody. I was sitting there going, if they show Christopher Robin going, taking a life, like, no wonder he's like, fuck Pooh. Like, but they show him in battle bad enough, like fucking like calling for help and shit, and gunfire going off all around. It's fucking harrowing and shit. And
does
like,
then become like an opium addict, and that's why he forgets?
No, he doesn't come back like, I'm fucking haunted. But he comes back a grown-up. Like, how do you fucking talk about, you know, oh, my bear, he loved honey, you know, when fucking it's like, I've seen my brothers killed in war and shit. This is the first 3 minutes of the movie, dude. This is all the opening credits. Like, they don't even get into the meat of the movie. They set it up all perfectly in the opening credits about how a boy becomes a man and leaves behind, like, you know, fucking the world of fantasy and shit. And then it becomes Hook. You know, it's like Robin Williams, like, grew up and became, like, the not a great dad, and his fucking kid is like, hey, man, don't you want to play? And he's like, study your books. And Christopher Robin, of all people, wound up working at a luggage company. Like, that's, like, all that imagination, and he's like, we sell luggage. So it was a weird... It's not the way I personally would have done it. I think with that recipe, you could have, like, squeezed everyone's heart for every last fucking drop was left, but I cried a fuck ton.
Because he's got emotional baggage, Kev.
What do you mean?
That's why he sells luggage. Number one, you never filed that. That just made it fucking work. Why weren't... I wish I'd gone to see it with you instead of my weeping ass kid, man, who was like, no fucking help whatsoever, man. Somebody might have explained that. That's fucking good. Do you think that was the intention? That's my guess. Otherwise, why luggage? Could have been pots and pans.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they used it in the end, like in the third act. They're like, this is how luggage ties in. But I like the way you did it fucking more. Now I want to know if that was the case.
Well, let's call Disney.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a question. What's with the baggage luggage?
It's a pretty good watch. Very fucking emotional, man. I was crying like a fucking bastard. But at the end of it, you know, I was like, hey, man, I get it. Like, fucking, that's why I give Disney my money. I like their drug. Like I know exactly what I'm gonna get. Makes me feel a very specific way and shit. Takes me to a wonderful fucking place and shit. So like that's why I'm in on it. And I'm in on it. I know to hustle. Like I'm not stupid. Like fucking this ain't real. That bear ain't real and shit like that. But I buy into it. Like I like it. Go ahead. Fucking right there. Pop the fucking vein and shit. My kid loves Disney in a whole different fucking way, and so that movie, like, haunted her for hours. Like, fucking hours later, I walked into my bedroom, and my daughter is bawling on the couch in my wife's arms, and I thought, like, her and her boyfriend broke up. I was like, what did he fucking do? And my wife goes, he is Christopher Robin. And
I know what he did.
Yeah, fuck, I saw what he did and shit. I was like, are you serious? She was like, I can't get over it. She had a little stuffed animal she carried around her whole life when she was a kid called Yay, a little pink elephant, flat elephant and stuff. And she named it after Jay, of all people. And she couldn't say Jay, so she would say Yay, Yay. And so she named the elephant fucking Yay, Yay. So I didn't have something like that I carried around, but like I fucking love Winnie the Pooh, and I love clever storytelling, and I love the idea that like, oh, they let him grow up and he had to find his friends again and shit like that. She was fucking devastated. Like still, I looked at her Instagram story the next day, and it looked like fucking one of our beloved animals had died. She was just crying, and she kept writing on the screen, Christopher Robin did this, and shit like that. Very fucking emotional over the whole affair, man. So it worked like crazy on her. My wife is like, you're not allowed to bring her to shit like that anymore. I was like, it's not like I brought her to a horror movie where somebody got killed or something like that. She was like, I am not prepared to give up 2 more hours to have a Christopher Robin conversation about how she can not feel bad about growing up. Yay, still on her bed and shit like that. I was like, kid, nobody in this house has ever had to let go of their childhood. Even your 48-year-old father still acts like he's fucking 12. So like I get it, it works, but like, come on, you can't identify it with that much and stuff. It was interesting.
I took my kid to the movies.
What'd you see?
Blackkklansman.
Oh, right on, man. And how was it? Spike Lee.
It's depending on how you feel about Spike Lee, it's a Spike Lee movie. So, and there's some of the Spike Lee that I love to death. Like
right.
Spike is I'm going to reach for it filmmaker at every turn. And sometimes those reaches are like daffy and weird, and sometimes they're super fucking emotional and perfect and
right.
almost abstract in their effectiveness.
He's an artist.
My 14-year-old son, who does not have a ton of like first-hand experience with the Klan.
What kind of fucking father are you?
Come on, boy. The cross burning sheds light. It's cold out here. So like he was coming to it almost totally cold. Of like, what is this? Well, son, let me tell you about racism in America, according to Spike Lee. And luckily, it's Spike paints the Klan in such like broadly cartoonish strokes.
Yes.
That they're kind of daffy and laughable, which is exactly how I want to be explaining the Klan to a 14-year-old. It's like, yes, they're all awful. Yes, they're kind of dumb and garish and stupid as fuck, and all of their ethoses make no kind of sense, but they're also a little bit funny. But not at all. But like there was enough distance. Like you're not confronted by the real horrors of the Klan that much in this movie, because he paints them all so broadly. It's an interesting true story. I don't know if you are familiar with said true story, but the commercials kind of tell you what it is, which is there was a black police officer, a rookie in the Colorado Springs Police Department, who one day like saw an ad in the newspaper for the Klan and just calls them and says, "Hi, I'm really interested in your white supremacy movement. Can you tell me more?" And they're like, "Yes, you sound like you're down for the cause." I'm like, "I am. I hate niggers." And they're like, "Awesome." And I
just want to point out the first use of that word was on the last episode of Fatman on Batman Ever.
And that did it. Good night, everybody. The last episode of Fatman on Batman was brought to you by the N-word. And viewers like you. But he then decides that, like, okay, well, they want to meet me. We got to infiltrate the Klan. Clearly, I can't go because I'm not Cleavon Little. So I need a white guy to pretend to be me. And so he calls on
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Who's got to, like, just...
He's like, I hate my parents.
I hate all things. And so he's got to go undercover to all these fucking Klan meetings. And this character also happens to be Jewish. And so...
Which, that's apparently not historically
There's a lot
case.
of fudge happening in this movie.
It's a movie, so first and foremost, it's not supposed to be, like, historically accurate.
Totally. Whenever they tell you based on a true story, it means mostly fiction, and some of this might have happened, but not at all like this. And so, like, but the parts that do happen are kind of cool and kind of fun, and there's parts of this movie that are very funny, and then there's parts of this movie where you're like, oh God, there's actually hate, this kind of hate, which feels kind of baseless and foundationless, but exists in people's hearts for reasons that I can't adequately explain to my kid. Like, why do people hate people like this? Like, I just don't fucking know, buddy, but hey, remember that Christopher Robin trailer? that was better, right? But it's noteworthy.
Wait a second. They trailered Christopher Robin at the head of Blackkklansman? Really?
Yeah.
I wonder what the crossover in the Venn diagram is there.
Do you want to be angry and then weepy? Vice versa? But Topher Grace is actually remarkable in this movie.
He plays David Duke.
He plays David Duke, and there's this kind of like blinkered idealism to him, which is kind of great. But then you get the spikiness of it. Like, you get the dolly shots of people being brought towards their final, confrontation. You get, like, long monologues from people just kind of sitting there telling you shit.
You know what, man? Like, Spike Lee, of course, Do the Right Thing is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's a brilliant fucking movie. And part of the reason I do what I do is because I read Spike's books, and I love Spike Lee as a filmmaker. And, I know some people have issues with him and whatnot. Scrape away whatever the movies are about. Man, like, Scorsese is a true natural-born filmmaker who constantly works at his craft and stuff. And what was my point in saying all that? It sounds like a lot of disclaimer.
But
I'm wondering what my point was in all that. So that being said, I love that, like, if I'm 25 years into my career, Spike is 30, 35 at this point. I'm maybe at least 30 years into his career. I love 30 years into his career, he's still committed to that dolly shot. Of sticking an actor on the dolly and moving with them. Mm-hmm. Like, it was his. It was the first one that did it, at least that I ever noticed in a movie. And some people, it hits him the wrong way and shit, but is unmistakably his. And it doesn't matter how much money he's had, whether he's had very little to make the movie or all the money in the world to make the movie. He always includes a variation of that shot. I love that so much. That's somebody who's just like, this is mine. This is one of my signatures.
I know, and I love that he's now working with Denzel's kid. Because I don't know how often filmmakers get to do that. That guy's my muse, as is his progeny. Like, I will find a way to keep working with the Washington family because they are my good luck charm. They always deliver. And John David Washington is a really good actor.
Is he good?
He's really good.
What else was he in?
He's in Ballers. The only other time I'd seen him is on HBO's Ballers.
That's the show about sports
football
and agents?
Yes. Starring The Rock.
Things that I'm least interested in life, so I've never watched it. Is it a good show?
It is, it gets a bad rap for being like Entourage, but with sports. It's better than Entourage.
Oh, now you just really unsold the show to me. Is that what it is?
That's how they had billed it at first, because it's like there's fucking boys behaving badly with lots and lots of money. But it's got a far more deft touch than Entourage ever did. The Rock is a better actor than anybody on Entourage ever was.
It's true.
Yeah, I said it. I didn't realize that was a hill I had to die. Adrian Grenier is the worst Aquaman.
Certainly more charismatic, I would say, than any of the Entourage leads. And that's not shitting on those cats. They obviously had enough charm to make that show work for a long fucking time. But admittedly, Dwayne Johnson is charming as fuck. There's a reason that career just keeps fucking going. Remembering he made the Tooth Fairy once. Any man that could keep a career going after that, like that's charm, man. There's some people just have that movie star shit to him, and that dude's clearly one of those people.
And not just keep working to then become the biggest movie star on the planet. That takes doing.
And then also be like, I'm such a big movie star, I'm going to do an HBO show sometimes. Like, it's not even his main fucking gig.
No.
Kind of impressive.
But yeah, no, John Washington is the real deal. So yeah, I would recommend.
We started blowing The Rock for a long time. We were talking about somebody completely different. You're right.
I mean, he's also on the same show, and it's fine. But yeah, like it's a really interesting movie. It is an interesting slice of life. It is a little too overt when it doesn't need to be, because half the movie is like "Make America Great Again" jabs, and like America
It's
First.
a period piece. Though,
It's a
right?
period piece, so it's in the '70s. So there's lots of fucking hair, and lots of bell bottoms, and like John Washington is working that fro, and there's a ton of fucking fros. But yeah, there's moments of that movie that really soar, and one of my favorites is he manages to get Harry Belafonte out of retirement to just deliver like this monologue as a dude who'd been a victim of the sort of the underground South, the KKK, had a best friend who was lynched, and just telling the story of what it was like to be terrorized in Alabama in like the 50s and 60s. And it's fucking Harry Belafonte, and you just hear that voice, and you see that guy and that presence and the weight of that man on film. Like whatever other problems you might have with the movie, and there are problems to be had with that movie, every like 20 minutes something that you would never have seen anyplace else happens. And that for me is kind of worth going to the movies to see. Like I never saw that before, and I'm glad I did.
I'm in. I mean, I was going to see it eventually, but you might have driven me to the movie theater, man. That the 3-day or 4-day weekend, whatever the fuck it was, all my work was done. Then I was like manufacturing work for myself, so I went and did another draft of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. This is the 8th draft of the script, and at this is weird. This is the draft where I had to take out all the fat jokes because they just don't make sense anymore. So that's what I was working on, and then I just had enough time where I was like, "Fuck, I got no work. What does one do?" And I was like, "Oh, you used to go to the movies and shit, and it's the summer. There should be a bunch of stuff to see." So you've just added something to the list, man. I'm gonna fucking go see that.
Dig into it, man.
All right, so that's all the
That is all the chit chat we got.
chit chat we got. Right on, man. This show is divided. It's bifurcated, if you will, into 2 parts. And in the first part of the show, we task Mr. Marc Bernardin here to go scour the internet for all the news that might be fucking noteworthy to us, so we can sit here and digest it and break it down and whatnot. Give it up for Marc Bernardin. He went and found some news.
Hard fucking work out there, man.
I know, you got to do it. You're out there
digital
scouring.
minds, you don't fucking know.
You got to go through a lot of it, see what's fake and what's real.
I do at that. Are you familiar at all with a series of novels and then a video game called The Witcher?
Ooh, no. Not at all.
Not at all. It is based on a massive book series by a Polish author whose name I will not attempt to pronounce because it's got a lot of fucking consonants butted up against each other.
Fair
but
enough.
it's about a solitary monster hunter who struggles to find his place in a world where people often prove more wicked than beasts. But when destiny hurdles him toward a powerful sorceress and a young princess with a dangerous secret, the three must learn to navigate the increasingly volatile continent with a capital C together. It's going to be an 8-episode series on Netflix.
What do you mean continent with a capital C?
I think that's just what they're calling their world, like Middle Earth, but now it's just continent. Or that's a typo on behalf of Deadline.
Fair enough.
Henry Cavill will be starring as said monster.
Oh,
hunter.
fuck, with or without mustache?
I hope full fucking mustache.
I don't know which one I like more now myself, with or without mustache.
I like the mustache. Man.
Yeah, it kind of works, man.
I really do.
Could be the seat of his power. I think they ought to let him get one more fucking shot at Superman with the mustache.
I still would love to see that footage because it all exists somewhere of just.
It's
awesome.
You saw the footage, that's right.
Yes.
And you know that footage is like they could just turn it into money at this point. And they're past it enough where it's like, come on, man, just own it and shit.
Just show me that shit.
Give us the stash. Give us the stash.
Also sounds like we're asking for the secret stash to come back to L.A.
Yeah, nobody's asking for that.
We just did, though, kind of a little bit.
We did in our chant.
But yeah, Henry Cavill, this will be his first TV role since The Tudors.
I loved him on The Tudors. That's where I first saw him. He was Henry's best friend.
Charles.
Henry VIII, yeah. But that's where I first noticed him. Then they're like, this cat's going to be Superman. I was oh, yeah, I know that dude.
So he's going back to TV. He's going to be a fucking fantasy monster slayer with stash. I'm going to say it. Fuck it. He's got a mustache.
Who's doing it?
Netflix. 8 episodes straight to series. Probably out in 2019, if I had to guess. But
sometimes. When? 2020? How do you know?
Yeah, fucking 2019.
You read the same article he did? You're like, I read one line further than Mark. Seems like everyone's got a Netflix show except us.
Son of a bitch.
I know, it kind of sucks.
We'll get one, though.
I'm used to being
Someday.
being part of the popular crowd, though, so that really doesn't affect me. Does it bother you at all?
It does a little bit, man.
Does it really?
I like to be popular. All evidence of the contrary. I don't mind it. Also, I like getting paid, so
that
hey,
helps.
Netflix.
Yeah.
How you doing?
They seem to have all the money.
So yeah, that's happening. Hey, they're making a Swamp Thing series. On
James.
DC All Access.
Yeah, James Wan is directing.
James Wan is not
creative, but he'll probably direct an episode.
They hired a director for the pilot.
It's
not James Wan.
Is it Kevin Smith?
I don't know. Are we breaking new news?
It's gotta be amazing. Who is it? Who's got the job?
Your old buddy, Len Wiseman.
What a great choice. Yeah, he did Underworld.
He did
And
Underworld?
he did a movie I was in. He directed me in Live Free or Die Hard.
He did indeed.
Yeah, he's a good call, man. Len has an interesting career. He started in, props, and then moved to production design, and from there went to directing. You rarely fucking see that. But his idea, came up with the idea for Underworld and stuff, so he got to make that movie, and then bam, he became a director. He's a nice fucking dude.
Is he?
The one I knew, absolutely. I mean, it's been a few years since I've seen him, and fucking
Hollywood changes.
who knows? But he was a really nice dude, good guy.
Yeah, I mean,
He was the first. This is apropos of nothing, but he was the first adult I knew that texted with a child. And I should explain that because it sounds dirty and shit, but he had a stepdaughter who was young. She was like 11 or 12. And he, one day we were chit-chatting, he goes, hold on, and he's texting, he was laughing and shit. I was, what are you doing? He's like, I'm texting with, it was Kate Beckinsale's kid. And I thought that was adorable. I was like, you text with a teenager? What was that like? And he's like, you'll find out one day. And I did. Now I text with my kid all the time where I'm like, would you fucking shut up about Christopher Robyn? Jesus Christ. Len Wiseman on Swamp Thing gets my vote. I'm all for that.
He's also made a pretty handy career out of directing pilots for TV shows that have all gotten
He
series.
did a Sleepy Hollow.
He did Hawaii Five-0. He did Lucifer.
Did he do the Hawaii Five? He did Lucifer as well?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, the first one, what was the first one you mentioned?
Sleepy Hollow.
That lends itself probably to the direction that they're going with Swamp Thing. So, yeah, he's a really good choice.
Yeah, but there's money to be made being that guy. Because if you
Being Len Wiseman?
being the guy who directs the pilot of a TV show.
If you're going to direct any episode of a TV show, direct the pilot, man. Then they give you a little scratch going forward and stuff.
They really do. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're at that level, you then attach yourself as an executive producer to the show. And then you get paid every time they have an episode of that show as an executive producer, whether you show up or do anything or not.
Yeah.
And so
some of that sweet consultant money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what that's
I don't know why I made that sound dirty.
I know, yeah. All right, so I'm down like a clown, as no kids today say, for that idea.
Hey, fellow youths. I have more DC Universe news.
Okay, DC Universe, the app?
DC Universe, the app, their programming grid, the shit they're doing.
Tell me about it, because I know nothing about this.
I'm sure you don't. Our friend, he of the two dicks, Alan Tudyk,
Yes.
has been cast in Doom Patrol.
Oh, fuck, I didn't know this. All right, wait, hold
That's
on. Let me guess. Hold
Okay,
on. So
if you guess.
we know that I'm going to do it by process of elimination. We know that Cliff has been cast as Brandon Fraser as Cliff Steele, Robot Man.
Yes.
He's obviously, not Elastigirl.
No. Nor is he Crazy Jane.
He's not Crazy Jane.
No.
Crazy Jane's a character in this version?
Yep.
Okay, so that leaves Larry Traynor, the Negative Man.
And not Cyborg, clearly.
Cyborg is in Doom Patrol? Since when?
They made a Doom Patrol show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting? Wait. Niles Calder, the chief?
No.
He's too young for that. All right, I don't know.
He will be playing Eric Morden / Mr. Nobody.
Ah.
It's clear that you have deep feelings about Mr.
Not
Nobody.
at all, yeah.
Oh. So good
From
for
a
him.
storyline they did. Is he a bad guy or something?
Let's see, blah, blah, blah. After exposure
I
to
have vague
unknown
memories of Mr.
experiments
Nobody,
by
but-
ex-Nazis in post-war Paraguay, the man formerly known as Eric Morden emerges as a living shadow able to drain the sanity of others as the enigmatic and totally insane Mr. Nobody. So maybe bad guy, maybe good guy.
Yeah, for
Hard
some
to tell.
reason I think, but I'm rusty on my Doom Patrol. But oh fuck, what an amazing run of that book. It was a Grant Morrison did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, it was just so next level shit, man. Really wonderful. And right now they're doing it again, right? Gerard Way's
Yeah.
Young Animal is doing a bunch of Doom
I think
Patrol
that
books.
might have been the one book to survive. I think they canceled much of the Young Animal line.
Is that
but I
right?
think Doom Patrol survived.
So maybe it sounds like this is the version of the Doom Patrol that they're actually doing.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
I'm in. I love the fact, I said it on their stream, on the DC Universe stream. I love the fact that they're like, fuck it, we don't need other networks to pick up our shows anymore. If we want to do a Doom Patrol show, we'll do it on our own app and stuff. It's nice that they're taking the reins of their own material and not just leaving it up to chance, hoping some network will roll the dice on it. They're like, fuck it, we'll roll the dice on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting a Swamp Thing show, a Doom Patrol show. That's really exciting.
How often do you stop by the DC daily streaming thing? Is it an ongoing thing?
Going
or you just-
forward?
Yeah. Or you just there for kicking it off?
I was on deck for the premiere episode
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, but no, I'm like, it was wonderful. I had a great time doing the show and stuff, and they were like, oh my God, you got to come back and stuff. But when the show was over at one point, we were all on stage, like, group shot, and we all took a picture together, and like, all right, Kevin, step out, just the cast. And I was like, fuck. So like all those people I introduced, they're the DC Daily hosts and stuff. But they wanted me to come back to do other stuff. So I'll be back.
All right. Last news story.
You know what they're doing on that channel too?
Tell me.
Which is genius. Just long deep dives on characters, doing documentaries on their characters. So like I sat down for an interview for an Aquaman documentary and Shazam documentary. Naturally, it makes sense because they got those movies coming out and stuff. But they told me a bunch of the other characters that they're doing, and it's not the standard like Batman. It's just like they're going into their treasure trove and they're like having people like talk about the characters and their memories and shit like that. Like so right up my alley. I would totally watch this show were I not in it, and if I weren't in it, I would call someone up and be like, "Why aren't I in this fucking thing?" and stuff. So I got to sit down and do the interview. They got all their shows are like right up my alley, and they showed on the app or on the live stream we did for the DC Universe, the intro to their movies. Like when they put up a movie, they have like people introduce it and shit like
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah, so I know I haven't done one, but they asked me to do one. I was like, I'll do one in a heartbeat. But I know some people who have done them, and it's just I don't know. They're treating it so cool. This is everything that I would have loved back when I was a fucking kid collecting DC comics and shit. Like, oh my God. And I'm an adult now who obviously still loves this shit, and I can't fucking wait. Like, it's one thing, like, my kid's one of the anchors on DC Daily, so I love it for that reason where I'm like, thank God somebody else is paying this fucking kid. And so I'm happy about that, but I'm just happy as a fucking fan. They're aggregating a lot of shit under one roof, and it's smart.
Cool.
It also might give us a fucking job one day, man.
You know
I
what
what I'm
use
saying?
one.
You're kidding. I wouldn't say no.
Last news story is a little bit incestuous, I think, in a way.
Okay.
in that Disney has announced that for their new Star Wars land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge,
Yes.
they will, for the first time, sell alcohol
I saw this.
in the park. That isn't at Club 33. That isn't at, whatever that other bit in California Adventure.
Look, from what I understand, they've kept it out of the park for as long as they have because that was one of Walt's, dictums. Walt was like, no booze in Disneyland.
Right.
And so there never has been. But at Disney World, they got booze at Epcot because they're like, hey, technically Walt never said no booze at Epcot, so fucking.
Yeah. And as the Walt Disney Museum taught me, he's dead.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I don't know if they'll, I doubt they'll change the policy in Disneyland proper. That just feels like it's now, kind of woven into the fabric of that park.
Yes.
But doing Star Wars Land, ironically enough, like gives them the opportunity. I never would have put those two things together, like Star Wars liquor. But like, I guess they're right. There was a cantina bar.
We'll have a cantina, so the cantina will serve booze.
How interesting! What a novel concept to make a bar that looks like a thing that was in a movie.
I mean, somebody should do that.
They should. It's a good idea, man.
Yeah, there's money to be made, I think.
It's that'd be ironic if one day they're like, come do your show here.
It's like, JC, I'm sorry, we gotta step out on you a little bit.
Everything's so familiar but more expensive.
Why are all these children here?
Look, I'm not gonna predict the future like Babe Ruth pointing to fucking left field and shit, but I will say this: the theme bar I think will only become like a bigger concept. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're gonna walk in someplace to get a fucking drink. Like for years it looked like fucking Fridays and shit like that. Just like wood or brick or whatever the fuck and funny shit hanging on the wall. I'm not a drinker, I'm a stoner, but if this was a fucking smoking bar, I would come here, man. Fucking that'd be like oh my God, if I'm gonna get high anywhere, it's in this fucking room. Cause then I'm in the movies. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's an idea that like catches on in a big bad way. I went to a place, I met a guy who had a theme bar. He had a video store bar. So you walked into the front and it looked like a little video store with all VHSs. You could literally rent VHS from it. And I was like, why would you start this business like this late in the game? Like I get the kitschy value of, hey, remember VHS? But you're gonna go broke and hungry and shit. And then they pulled a fucking video on the wall and they open it up and there's a speakeasy behind it. They're like, this is where the money is, motherfucker. He also had a bar that was themed to the Overlook Hotel. See, that's like a cool fucking concept, man. Lloyd, your ghostly bartender and shit like that. So notion of like a watering hole that feels like something and shit gives you that distinct impression. I could see that totally catching on. It's no brainer that they did it. Like if you're building Star Wars Land, which again, like sounds fucking astounding. Sounds like something 7-year-old me, 9-year-old me who saw those movies when they happened dreamed of. Like, oh, is there a hotel where we can go pretend we're in fucking Star Wars? Now you will go there and you can't even wear this shit. When you show up, you got to put on their fake outfits and walk around and you're like, it's taking a movie to the next level where you're like, now you're in the fucking thing. So it makes sense that they're like, hey, and we got a bar too, and you could drink blue milk or whatever the fuck. Yeah, man. I'll visit it when they put a Star Wars weed bar in. Then I'm fucking there like crazy and stuff.
Oh, like you're not gonna go. Go visit once you get weed or opening day.
I don't know, man. Like if I would go opening day, unless it was like, hey man, you're part of the guest list, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have to wait in line, because like the line would kill it for me, man. Because I'm like, look, I know another Star Wars like bar somewhere where I get in like that. So fuck it. You gotta come correct. You gotta show me some incredible shit. Is Jabba there? If not, fuck off, man. I'm staying in Hollywood. Well, that's pretty tremendous, man. Is that all the news we got?
That is all the news, my
Slow
friend.
news week. Hopefully some new
it
shit will happen soon. Well, I know what we'll be talking about on the next edition. Tomorrow, this time, we will have all seen the Captain Marvel trailer.
Hell yeah.
So next week we're going to have a ton of shit to talk about on next episode. But in the meantime, the news is at an end, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Marc Bernard, and he brought you the news.
We got some news. We got some news. We got some news.
All right, now that we're all fucking informed and shit, it's time to get informed in a different way. Second part of this show, ladies and gentlemen, is the Q&A aspect of this show. The Q&A allows you folks in the audience to jump up to the mic, take the spotlight, and ask questions that you wanna get answers for and stuff like that. And so what we do is, if you ask questions that are useful to both of us, the question should be addressable to both me and Marc and stuff. If we get a good answer out of us, we got some tickets here that we're gonna give you as a free gift from the good folks at 4DX, man. Brett Deacon, who's not here tonight, got us tickets yet again. Give it up for Deacon, even though he's not here, man. The 4DX experience, ladies and gentlemen, is a fun fucking way to watch a movie. If it's snowing in the movie, it's snowing in the movie theater and shit. If somebody is screeching away on a fucking motorcycle, you smell burned rubber and stuff. During the credits to a Star Wars movie, your chair goes back as the fucking words crawl up the screen. It's pretty phenomenal. They have a theater at LA Live here in Los Angeles. There are theaters all over. I think there's in New York. There's also in Chicago as well. But the one we always point people to is LA Live. So we got 5 sets of tickets here, 2 tickets apiece, so you're not walking in going like, 1 please. You get to walk in with somebody else, man. If you're smart, you take Marc Bernard, because then he leans over and he's like, he's got emotional baggage.
And then I just...
And then your chair shudders because it too is so shocked you didn't see that. Okay, so 5 sets of fucking tickets, man. We open it up to JC, the guy who runs this here fine establishment, which did we identify? We did not. We were so busy blowing the last episode of Fatman on Batman, we forgot to say where we are, man. Here we are, Scum and Villainy Cantina on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California.
The only space-themed bar you actually need.
JC runs this here bar, and he's picked our first person we're going to speak to, and he's standing up, and you got an appropriate shirt on. What's your name, young man?
My name is Grant.
What is it, Grant?
Grant.
Everyone give it up for Grant.
What up?
Grant, you're going to take us someplace, and if you take us there correctly, you're going to get rewarded with these tickets.
Appreciate it. Okay, so first time here, big time fans. Both you guys.
Thank you.
Came all the way here from Washington.
Right on.
Washington
Where?
State.
Washington
Tri-Cities, Kennewick, Washington.
Right on.
Shout out to all my friends. They watch it too.
Hey, friends.
So we always have these big fights of if we had a group of superheroes, supervillains, who would we pick and why? So I was hoping one of you could do like a softball or a t-ball, kind of pick one of the other superheroes, villains. Top 5. Who's your favorite heroes, favorite villains, and then who do you think would win?
Wow, that's like a multi-part math question right there.
I'm so
It's like doing algebra, man.
I teach too, I'm sorry.
All right, so let's see. So should we...
So am I doing villains and you're doing heroes?
You want to split it up
whoever
that
wants
way?
to.
Who do you want to do, villains or heroes?
Fuck. I'll do villains.
Okay.
And I would say any fictional character. Doesn't have to be just comics.
Doesn't have to be comics.
No,
Could be
just
across all
fictional,
mediums.
cinematic, comic book, anything.
Man, you pulled the good category because villains are way more interesting than heroes. Now I got to work very hard. Okay.
And are we trying to game this to see which would win in a fight? My league of villains versus his league of heroes?
Yes.
Fair enough. I'm gonna win.
All right.
Gauntlet's been laid.
I really right here. What I should be doing here is strategic. I shouldn't even be picking my favorites. I should be picking the most powerful and shit like that. Number 1, Jesus.
I thought he would say it. That's all.
All right.
You cannot kill your teammate if it's Jesus, man. He just keeps coming back and shit. Jesus, yeah, it takes 3 days, but still.
Just bear in mind, my dad's going to watch this, and he's a retired pastor.
And he's only going to be around for a little bit, too.
It's true. It's true. All right. So Jesus,
you come
number
with Jesus.
one.
Do I go now?
Go ahead. We'll go back and forth.
All right. So Jesus, I got to beat Jesus.
Good luck. Many have tried.
Fuck. Now, like religion is on the table. All right.
Yeah. Pick Pontius Pilate.
I was going to go Satan, so I'll go Satan.
Yeah, but he beats Satan. Satan's like, I'll give you the world. And he's like, my dad owns the world. Fuck off.
Yeah, but one of them is still here.
Fair enough.
Just saying.
Yeah, we just lost the Christian audience. Okay.
Okay.
Jesus, Satan.
Yes.
Batman. Because Jesus, is your might, but fucking Batman is your right uppercuts and shit like that.
Okay.
Batman will break somebody's fucking spine.
Batman. Taxes.
Something even Batman has to fight. He's like, as Batman, I fight injustice, but as Bruce Wayne, I fight high taxes. Let's see. Okay, taxes.
I got
Jesus,
death and taxes. So
Batman. Who do I add to my team? Controversial choice.
Okay.
Thanos. Ooh. From a certain perspective, he's a hero. He could have literally wiped out everybody with one snap. I call that mercy.
Let's see.
So think about it now. I've got Jesus, I've got Batman, and I've got the Infinity Gauntlet. What do you got, man?
Thanos.
Well played, sir. Darn. We're matched. All right, let's see. I got Jesus, Batman, Thanos, the good one. All right. I mean, there's so many that I want to reach for that, are like obvious, but like, fucking, I got to get more creative. You pass. You go. I'll think of one. Don't say the NRA.
Mr. Mixelplick.
Ooh, an imp. Well done. Magic's at play. Oh, fucking Harry Potter. The boy who lived, man. He's always rubbing it in Jesus' face.
All right. So now we're still at 4 each. We're at
4 each.
So now do I have to go first because you passed?
All right, I'll go again. All right, so I've got Jesus, Batman, good Thanos, and Harry Potter. Just need another. The 5-year-old in me wants to pick Jaws. I saw him as the hero of that movie. Let's see. Oh! Well, I want to pick this, but I want you to just copy me and shit.
All right. Do it. Go ahead. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Darth Vader.
Okay.
He went good, eventually.
He did. At the end of that story, for like 8 minutes.
Yeah, but the good 8 minutes, man. So what you got is the best of all possible worlds, like a fucking killing machine who spent his life fucking taking lives, who at the very end was like, nah, I like people.
So wait, Dave,
He's on your
David
side.
Prowse or Hayden Christensen, Darth Vader?
Prowse or Christensen?
Or
Can I pick whoever played him in fucking Rogue One?
Sure.
I'm picking that Darth Vader.
Okay.
That Darth Vader, but he's my friend. All right, I got 5. Who's
You
your
got
last?
5. My last one is I'm tempted to go big, but big isn't that much fun.
Okay.
I'm going to go.
Sauron, the blinky eye of death.
No, it's got bad taste in jewelry. Maximilian from the Black Hole.
What the fuck? Did you do it just to fuck with me? Oh my god, what a great fucking nostalgic choice. Why? He's fucking powerless.
He survives the end of the fucking world, the inside out of that black hole. Like, you see him surviving perdition's flames. That motherfucker can do almost anything.
All right, fair enough, man. But Jesus beats him. Who do you think sent him into that black hole?
Harry Potter.
All right, pick your character. Who's up first? Whoa, that's a good time. No, that's good luck. What is pick your character? Who you putting up first?
You want to put up first? Thanos.
I put up Thanos. We negate each other.
Okay, wipe.
Round 1 done. Thanos wins.
Jesus, you gonna put up? Who's your next guy?
Who do I put up? Saving him for closing. Batman.
You don't lead with Jesus, you close with Jesus.
Exactly. Batman.
Um,
Batman's my fucking second act with
Nice.
5 acts.
Mixelplick.
Oh, fuck. But Batman has beaten imps before. He's got experience with Batmite, so it could be a decent fight.
Okay.
But I don't know who wins in that one. Gotta give it to you, right? All right, Magic wins. Mixelplick beats Batman. Does anybody know a story where Batman has faced Mixelplick and beat him? He just has to get him to say his name backwards. Fuck you, Batman wins. He's so smart, he would be like, Slippleskin. And suddenly motherfucker would be like, ah, and then he disappears. Let's see. Third one I put up, Harry Potter.
Taxes.
You win. Harry Potter can't beat taxes, man.
Gringotts is a bitch that way.
Yeah, fuck. Goddamn muggle world.
Destroyed Gringotts, so yeah, that works.
Yeah, it does work. All right, so who do I got left? My deep bench.
You got Vader and Jesus.
Vader's up 4th, man. He's my penultimate move. Who's he up against?
Who do I have left?
Satan and Maximilian from the black hole. Choose wisely.
Satan.
Satan against fucking... Against Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I guess Satan... For most of the time, Darth Vader wins until the last 8 minutes and shit. And then Satan's like, boom!
But then he comes back as
You want a little some of this?
Yeah.
What's
All right, I'll
what's
give
your
you-
fantasy, Vader?
I might. Well, where are we? First one's negated, so it's really best of 4.
Right.
So you've got
Mixelplick and Batman.
Mixelplick and Batman, which
Taxes and Potter.
so far you're 2. Was this next one?
We did Harry. Fuck. What the fuck was it? Satan.
Vader
Satan.
versus Satan. Vader has to win this match, or I lose completely.
Sure.
Although I do clean up with Jesus. Jesus is like, you want to see a snap, motherfucker? And, I don't know. Who wins between Mixelplick and Batman? Anybody? No, wait. What was the one? What's the one? Who wins between Vader and Satan? Legos.
Legos. I kind of think Satan wins, but I might be
No,
prejudiced.
Vader comes back as the Force.
The living force?
Yeah, he just comes back.
And Satan's like, the force is just fucking midichlorians. Fuck you.
Yeah,
And
just-
so, like,
He likes to hang out at fucking bonfires. He doesn't do anything. Just like, is there a barbecue here? What? We're just
what's the last one? Jesus versus Maximilian?
yes.
Yeah, that round's over.
Yeah.
I win.
I think Mark wins, man. And you win tickets. Give it up for him. Excellent question. Well done, my champion. All right,
was a good
JC,
one.
take us there. Where you want to go, man? Somebody else must have a question for us to ask. And there's a bunch of shirts they want you to sign right there. Hey, what's your name?
Hey guys, my name is Anand. Anand?
Arnold?
Anand. Yeah, thank you.
Spell.
A-N-A-N-D.
A-N-A. Anand?
Anand.
Anand.
Anand. Give it up for Anand, man. How are you, good sir? What can we possibly do for you this evening?
First off, I'm going to be that guy every podcast that just like talks about you guys for a bit. Clearly, as you might have guessed, I didn't grow up here.
Cleveland.
I was thinking Ireland, but you're right, Cleveland.
So I'm from India. I grew up in Dubai, and one of the things is we didn't have comic book stores out there for the longest time. So a lot of how I got into comics was either friends or Wikipedia. And at one fine day, I sort of stumbled upon the podcast. So you sort of introduced me to, or at least introduced me a lot of facts about comics. You told me that like Luke Skywalker was the Joker for some reason. I didn't realize that until you mentioned that on episode 2. So
Oh my God, how amazing. What a weird, wonderful world you live in where one day somebody late in life was like, you know Luke Skywalker? He's also the Joker. And you're like,
Pretty much, because I was listening to that episode and I was like, why is Luke Skywalker here? It's supposed to be about Batman, and then like he does the voice. I'm like, I know this voice.
Yes.
What the hell? So and like I've sort of been listening since like ever since. I had a long drive to where I went to school, so that's usually when I would listen to. The only episodes I would kind of skip were the commentaries on movies, because I'm like, I don't have I can't really watch while driving, so
Very true.
I'd skip a lot of those. Then you started the utility belt section, and that's when you sort of started having Marc on the show and less guests. And I was like, who is this Marc Bernardin guy? Why are there no guests anymore? What is
get that
happening?
all the time, man.
We went from Paul Dini to like the guy who was on all the episodes I skipped. So and I kept listening, and I realized that I agreed a lot more with Marc than anyone else. So again, I guess what I'm coming to is the two of you sort of embody these two messages where, Kevin, you are kind of like, no matter what you do and no matter how old you get, don't be afraid to love the things you love.
Yes.
Like, I watched Justice League twice in theaters. People like still give me shit about that, and I realize that it's not the best movie, but like when Superman holds back the entire Justice League, you cannot not be amazed at that one scene,
and you never have to apologize for fucking loving something full out. Like fucking, even if other people are like, really, that shit, man? Like fucking, it don't matter. It's like, it's how it affects you. All this shit's subjective, right? And it's nice when we're all on the same page where it's like, we love Infinity War and stuff. But like, everyone has a different fucking journey. I could sit here and do hours on fucking Buckaroo Banzai. And some people are like, oh, that movie, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't change the fact that like, I adore it. I'm glad fucking you loved Justice League and paid to see it twice. I'm not the only one, thank Christ. I like watching that movie on iTunes. Because I'll be going through my iTunes and the artwork for it is so fucking colorful. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna take the journey. And then 10 minutes in, I'm like, oh fuck. And so I stay with the journey and whatnot. And there are moments in it that like really do it for me and whatnot. But it doesn't have the same impact for me that like the Chris Nolan stuff had. But I love when people are like, hey man, that's my religion. Like it's a reminder that like, every movie is somebody's favorite fucking movie. Even the ones that like, you'll sit there and be like, it could have been better.
Yeah, and well, that's the message that you embody. Marc, on the other hand, is
he just shits on everything. So
I was gonna say is what I got from you is more of just because you love something, don't be afraid to critique it. Don't be afraid to point out flaws, because that's the only way things are gonna get better. And this is kind of why I feel that the two of you, in hindsight, I was like, what was I thinking? But now, you guys make such a great team. And I guess I want to thank you for everything that you do, for putting on the show, for not just from myself, from everyone here, and most importantly, from everyone around the world who might not be able to see you in person, just thank you for being you, both of you.
Number one, that's awesome. I love to be part of somebody's journey into comics. Somebody was my journey into comics, Walt Flanagan and stuff. So I know what that means. To have somebody simply explain some shit that you weren't around when it happened, but quickly it becomes your religion. So I know how special it is being on that journey. Thanks for letting us be a part of yours. That's really fucking cool. God, look where it's taken you. Aim higher is all I could say.
So yeah, thanks to both of you, and thanks to JC too, because obviously without you on the bar, this also wouldn't have found a home. So thanks to you too.
I agree. Everyone give it up for JC, man. Scum and villainy. Okay, now for a set of these motherfuckers, what do you got?
Okay, it's kind of a two-part question. The first part is, I know you guys both sort of started out doing commentaries on movies, but have you ever considered doing like a Let's Play video on any of the games, either the Arkham games or the Spider-Man game coming out soon, or anything like that? Is that something that you guys have considered or would like to do at some point?
Somebody has asked me, I forget where it was, it might have been on Talk Salad and Scrambled Eggs with Matt Meyer, that we talked about me playing the Arkham games all the way through, because he loves the fucking games, and he's like, oh my God, you would love it. He's going, the storylines are amazing. You
definitely would.
And I told him, I was like, I've watched most of the cut scenes like up online, so the only thing I'm missing is the actual punching people in the face part. And he's like, that's the best fucking part. So we've talked about doing it. Sooner or later, that should be an episode we do, where we sit down. I'd like to sit down with like somebody who's amazing rather than me, because it'd be embarrassing to watch Batman fall off the roof that many fucking times. But to sit down with a true master and shit and walk through the game, like I'm not one of those people that's like, I gotta play. I'm happy to watch somebody do it, particularly because the new video games seem a lot more like movies, where you can go through an entire fucking storyline and stuff. But it takes hours, right? Like you can't just do it in 2 hours. Can you?
Probably not.
You can like speed run, but then that's kind of not that much fun to watch somebody just blaze through it all without any of the joy. But I mean, maybe it's a limited series of the old Fatman on Batman, where we spend 4 episodes
doing the games.
You get blazed, and I play a game, and we then drop it onto the world.
All right, I'm down. Maybe. We'll get there. You've sold us. We're there.
Can't wait to see that. And I guess the second part of the question is, what DC or Marvel IP would you guys want to be a game, and what kind of game would that be?
What DC or Marvel IP would I like to see be a game, and what game would that be? I
got a thought.
Go.
I think using something like either the Roller Coaster Tycoon engine or maybe the Minecraft engine, a damage control game where you have to rebuild New York after every fucking huge giant, like, oh goddammit, Galactus put his foot in the middle of Central Park, how do we rebuild it? And you've got a certain amount of resources, and you can fucking build and allocate, and you're allocating versus crime fighting versus rebuilding versus triage. I think there is some kind of weird, granular, giant MMORPG builder thing you could do with that IP that a 14-year-old would endlessly play for like 2 months. And then like, oh shit, Fortnite is back, and then disappear down a well. But yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun.
I was gonna say Groot Pong. So I like his answer much better, man. That's kind of smart. You can go deep on that game. Let me see. What would I like to see based on a storyline that I've enjoyed in the comics? Secret Wars. But I'm sure they've done that. Haven't they already done a Secret Wars game? What? Seriously? That's the easiest fucking Marvel game to do. It's like all these heroes have to fucking fight each other or else. Like, and I know they have, don't they have a Marvel fight each other, right? Just call it fucking Secret Wars. Oh shit,
Yeah,
that's easy.
Put a new title on an old game. Boom.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd go for Secret Wars. That'd make the most sense to me. Great question. You win tickets. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure. All right, JC, what we got next? Where are we going?
Hey.
Hey, what's your name?
Katie.
Everyone give it up for Katie.
Katie!
How are you, Katie? What can we do you for?
I'm good. So I have 2 questions for you, and I really hate when people do this on the podcast, but it's okay.
Now that dude just did it, so you're fine.
Yeah, he did it, so it's okay. He's from India, and I'm from Texas, and so it's, I don't know, we're both third world countries.
I don't know who that's more offensive towards.
That was a good line. Welcome to the other America.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me back to California.
Welcome to the bubble.
So here's my first question, that you guys have both have good ideas about alternative storylines. What happens, why do those storylines not get developed into movies? Are they because there's not enough time to come up with them creatively? Is there not enough money to make them into movies? Or is there just lack of creativity?
You mean our specific, like, hey, I wish they would have done that to that thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's just fun. That's armchair directing, right? Like, it's always easiest to be like, you know what you could have done. And it's also like, you know, as somebody who not only makes the shit, but talks about other people's shit. Like, it's weird because I know as a filmmaker, I hate when people are like, well, if you had done this, this, and this. I'm like, if I had done that, it wouldn't be me. So I got to do me. And if you don't like it, you know, I don't know what to tell you and shit. So there's a part of me that feels like, oh shit, like, don't tell me what to do. But then we sit here, and some of the best times I've ever had on this show is when he's like, you know what would make it better? And he throws something in there, and I'm like, fuck, you just ruined the movie for all time and shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a school of thought that says talk about what you're presented as opposed to what you dreamed you were going to get and stuff like that. So whenever I go see a movie, that's what I try to do. I like on this show how, you know, we could sit there and fucking spitball and he comes up with fucking cooler things. He's just better about story than I am in general. So, like, he can whip out alts or something that fucking blow my mind. You just saw it before when he was like, luggage, bitch. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I sat there watching that movie for 2 hours. Never once did it occur. I never go beyond the surface. I'm all fucking text. Subtext is for smarter people. So for me, I like it's a weird position to be in. I just think it's easiest and way easier to tell people what they did wrong than it is to just start from scratch and do something right. Like, at the end of the day, like, we all liked, or I assume most of us like Infinity War and shit. We were on the same page with what the Russo brothers did, but it could have went so horribly wrong where we were like, what the fuck and shit, and then it would have been easy to poke fun at. Like, you know, like, as much as we were just talking about it, like Justice League. It's a very easy movie to sit there and be like, they could have done this and they could have done this and stuff. I think in the case of that movie, if you go movie by movie basis, like, you know, we know what the problems were there. That movie had 2 parents, and like neither of them were really talking to each other, I guess, and 2 different movies kind of come together. So it's easier on something like that to be like, they could have done this. I don't know. I think ultimately, you know, people pick their direction and head in it, and sometimes it doesn't match with what could have been done or what we wanted it to be. But that's it. It's not budget. They got all the money in the world to do all this shit. So it's certainly not that. I think it just comes down to they make choices that aren't exactly in sync with the audience, but think about how vast the fucking audience is. It'd be impossible to give everybody what they want. It's a miracle when a movie, you know, or a TV show gives enough people. I was thinking about it today. Like, you don't hear about like a lot of shit. Only certain shit breaks through anymore. Stranger Things. It's one of those things that like fucking broke through, man, where like everybody, my mother knows Stranger Things and stuff. And nobody really has any corrections for it. But like, you know, other stuff we can easily be like, I would change this, I would change this. I think it has more to do with choices, though. These storytellers go in a certain direction, and now since the audience is so vast, so much more vast than the audience has ever been before, there are enough different voices out there that can be like, well, you could have done this, you could have done this. I don't know, I'm rambling. You?
I mean, I think that the other element that is often in short supply, it's not money, because they've got hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on stuff.
They got all the money.
They don't have time, because half the time what ends up happening is that they will decide the release date before they have a script, before they have a cast, before they have a director. Like, we need to have this movie out July 4th, 2021. And if that movie is ready or not, or good or not, it needs to be out because there's an entire stockholders, shareholders bullshit happening. We got toy lines running up. We got Happy Meals happening. The merch, all of it is colliding with a date on a calendar that has not been decided upon by the filmmaker, who's got to be like, we might not be ready. No, you have to be ready. There's got to be a movie.
That's what happened with Justice League, if you remember. Like, Batman v Superman came out, and, you know, the reaction was like, what? Like, this is kind of dark. And they literally went to make Justice League the weekend after it opened. Like, they were all off, went to Europe and started shooting the movie. No time to course correct. Like, you couldn't, like, they would have to shut down, not hit their start date in order to be like, we're going to do a different script or a different approach or change things or something. And instead they were like, we got to hit a date, fuck it, moving forward and stuff. And then what did they do? They wound up trying to course correct later on. So yeah, he's right. That has a lot to do with it, man, the schedule and stuff.
Yeah,
People would just relax.
Yeah.
They might be able to come up with like those Marvel movies, man. I hate to, I'm not pitting the two against each other, but they certainly seem to start building them way the fuck out. You know, it's not like we started the movie like 2 minutes ago and it's coming out in 6 months. Like, they've been planning this shit for a decade or something like that. They told us years ago. They were like, here's how we're going to roll these movies out. And we're like, yeah, if you ever get there. And we're fucking there, man. So, like, clearly they had a plan going in mind. And we know that, you know, Justice League was a little bit kind of haphazard and stuff. But it looks like they're cleaning their act up over there. Not that it was fucking dirty to be cleaned up, but Aquaman looks fucking flawless. The trailer looks fucking flawless. Looks like everything an action-adventure comic book movie needs to be. In fact, it looks more than we've ever seen before. They're showing me shit I ain't seen before. So I'm like, ooh, looks like they learned something. And now I've watched that Shazam trailer like 10 fucking times, and it is Charm City. If that movie doesn't make money, man, I'll eat my fucking hat. Because at the end of the day, it is appealing to the one audience that they've seemed to forget in all this shit. Not just the movie makers, but like the game makers, the TV fucking makers, the comic book makers. Kids. Like, it needs to start with kids. It has to, the only reason we still talk about this shit, the only reason, like, I leave my house at age 48 and come out on a fucking Tuesday night to sit around and talk about this shit is because as a child, I was infected. And it has grown with me, man. And, like, it outlives shit that didn't last as long. I was raised Catholic. You don't hear me out there talking about Jesus that much, you know, unless I'm building a super team. And then he's very useful. But, like, this shit takes root in childhood. And, like, that movie looks like it's aimed squarely at the heart of a fucking kid. Like, and the approach is, you know, it's not insanely novel. They're like, hey, man, it's big with superheroes. Fuck it. I'll take it. I just went to see Hook with Winnie the Pooh. So, like, I'll fucking take a mix-up any way you do it. I'm there for it and stuff. Yeah, I think they're back on the right track. They seem to know what they're doing now.
Yeah, like, all we're doing here is giving a third draft to a script that never got one. You know, because they don't have time. Like, we're iterating. We're like, hey, but what if you, that's all, like, being a writer, especially in a writer's room is like, but what if we also did this? Hey, that's great. What if we also did this? What if we tried that? Is being able to experiment and figure it out and throw shit away when it doesn't work. I mean, that's why Pixar has had such a, for the most part, unbroken string of good movies. Even the shittiest ones are better than the other shitty movies. It's because they'll throw stuff away. They threw away the entirety of Toy Story 2 when it just didn't work. They're like, I'm sorry, this isn't happening for us.
Well, it wasn't that it didn't work. They were making a straight-to-video Toy Story sequel. Mm-hmm. And Steve Jobs jumped in and was like, are you out of your fucking minds? Like, we just built something nobody else has ever seen. You're going to waste it on a straight-to-video? Bullshit. Scrap it. And, you know, he's known to be, or they've written books about what a fucking guy he was, how he was very, do it my way or the highway. But he was absolutely right. Like, they would have killed that fucking brand forever if they were like, hey, man, now on home video, Toy Story 2, The Cheap Adventure, you know? Instead, he was like, hold that shit. It's got to be special. It's got to be in a movie theater. And it kind of worked out and stuff. You know what it came to mind? Somebody just told me this, and I'm like, that makes fucking sense. Like, I've been talking about, like, I'm involved in this thing that I've been working on, and hopefully it goes to series and blah, blah, blah. I still can't talk about it, but the cats that I work with, you know, I've been in the business 25 years, and I haven't always worked just for myself. Sometimes I used to work for other people and stuff. And when you work for other people, you're subject to taking their fucking notes. You take their money, you're gonna take their fucking notes.
That's right.
So back in the day, you know, I told the story many times about working on Superman, had to take the fucking notes, and the story I tell about is like, these people that gave me notes were ridiculous and stupid and shit like that. And generally that seems to be the case out here when people get notes from a studio. They're like, oh, it's fucking terrible, it ruined it. I've just been going through an experience, and this ain't fucking, they don't listen to podcasts because it don't help my cause at all and shit, but I was fucking blown away, flabbergasted by fucking, like, the quality of the notes that I got on the thing that I was involved with, the thing I'm involved in, were so fucking good. The jump between, he read it, first draft and second draft was everything. And I never would have gotten there if I didn't get fucking strong notes and shit like that. So I was talking to the kids going like, what, you know, I kept blowing them up going like, you guys give me fucking good notes. Like if this thing happens, it's literally because you guys have fucking guided me every step of the way. Like I'm just drunk and shit like that. Like this way, this way, this way, you're good and shit like that. So I said, what is that, man? And they told me, back in the day when I first started the job, your execs and shit like that, I don't know who they were, but nowadays, they're all writers. Like everyone that I'm in a room with is a writer as well. So I'm not answering to some fucking suit. It's all creative. So when you're getting notes from other fucking writers and stuff. Blew my fucking hair back, and they told me that's the way they do it at Pixar. They call it the Pixar method. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, Pixar was the first company to do that, where instead of hiring creative execs who aren't fucking writers, they were like, we're just gonna hire writers. They're like, you know how many writers are in this business and they're not working? Fuck it, come work here and make shit better. So like, talk about stacking the deck, man.
I didn't
like,
know
no
that was
wonder,
a job.
Just like, but what a wonderful job it is. Yeah. Like, even if you're not like writing your own fucking thing, you can go work at the Magic Factory where you could fucking like make shit better and whatnot. I don't, it just blew my hair back and stuff. So in any event, he's right. More time would certainly fucking help. But in some cases, you know, it's a business, right? Yeah. Like at the end of the day, we love it because it's like, hey, this shit's our religion. But to a bunch of other people over the hill, and this is not to disparage them in any way, shape, or form, but it's a fucking business. And they're hitting dates. They got a product to sell. If it wasn't fucking, fucking Justice League, it would be Pepsi or Coke. Like, they don't look at this shit as we look at it. It's like, and I'm not trying to create a divide, them and us, but look around you. Like, these people fucking live and die by these fucking flicks. It's our religion. For a lot of cats in this business, that's just what they're doing for this quarter and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah. And now, you got to cop to the fact that shit's gotten way better. Quality control's gotten way better. And I think that has everything to do with the shrinking movie dollar, how people just don't want to fucking leave anymore and stuff, so, leave their houses to go to a movie theater. So they know when they stepped up to the plate, they got to come up with something that fucking people are incredibly enamored of, something that's going to capture their imagination. So the ones that are doing it right, we know who they are, and the ones that are doing it wrong, I guess they're the ones we're talking about right now. But it seems like even those cats might figure it out how to do it right. Give yourself time and have lots of creative input. It seems like that'd be the key.
Yeah, totally. Time and money.
The story of Hollywood. Great fucking question. You win tickets. Give it up for
I have a second. I have a second question for you.
There was a part two.
So my second question is.
You might lose the question.
Oh. Well, I'll risk it.
Katie wasn't done with us yet.
I'll risk it. My second question is his question about the team. You guys picked all male characters. So my question to you is, for the last episode of Fatman on Batman, guys versus girls, who wins?
Girls, always.
Also, taxes doesn't have a gender per se.
Fair enough.
Non-gendered villainy.
Fair enough, Mark. Fair enough.
Yeah, you got one.
I got one.
I mean, God, that tells a story right there, doesn't it? Like, it's just a male world for me. I'm a guy. God, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's a goddess, and you guys didn't even. I mean, you picked Jesus over Wonder Woman.
Not only that, but I made a movie where God was a woman, and I still picked Jesus. I don't know what I was thinking, man.
I almost went Death from the Sandman universe, but I couldn't decide if she was a hero or a villain. That was my problem there. It was like she's a force of nature.
I almost picked my wife, but I didn't think that would count. But I was like, you want to talk about powerful? I know one person in this world who fucking literally has her hand up my ass like I'm a puppet. So, independent Kev until I get in that door. Then it's like Kev the glove. That was a great question. You still win the tickets. Give it up for her, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.
Thank you.
Pleasure. We didn't shake hands, but that's totally cool. Well done. I just didn't want to get fucking called out for not.
Kevin and Marc,
Shaking your
how you guys doing?
Hey, man, what's your name?
Amador. I've been
What
here.
is it?
Amador. Amador.
Amador. Everyone give it up for Amador, man.
I've been listening.
I honestly think I'm deaf. I asked like the question. I'm like, what's that name again?
You've signed many of my stuff.
I know. I'm like, fuck. Well, not only am I deaf, but I'm cold and unfeeling. I'm sorry.
It's the skinniness. Now that I have the weight,
You ain't got no weight. You look good.
Well, first of all, since it's the last Fatman on Batman, I've been listening since day one when you were doing the one-on-ones, and then when Mark came and gave that spicy flavor to it, and when you started doing it here, it's been just a joy to watch and
I agree.
see
I
you
like
guys do.
this space. This version of the show is my favorite.
And, continuing on with the new name, I can't wait for many more episodes.
Same old shit, different name.
Yeah. 2 quick shout outs to my 501st guys, the 661 Order, and my Reading Rain Bros. I know they all watch the show, so.
Reading Rain Bros?
Yeah, we meet at a comic book store twice a month at the Perky Nerd in Burbank, and we pick a couple of graphic novels and just, we read and talk about it and shits and giggles and all that stuff.
That is adorable, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why don't we have something like that? Reading Rain Bros.
We've read some of your guys' stuff, and
Does LeVar Burton know about the Reading Rain Bros?
Who?
LeVar Burton. Does he have thoughts on the Reading Rain Bros?
I have actually met LeVar actually at a karaoke spot, and we talked about it, and it was kind of funny.
What did he sing?
He loved it.
No, what did he sing? I want to know LeVar Burton's go-to fucking jam.
I hear he likes to cover the Roots a lot.
A little bit of ABBA. I don't know. It was a good time. It was a good time. But anyways, so talking about vacations, since both of you, especially Mark, I saw your Instagram going to San Francisco. My question to you guys is, you're stranded in a desert island. Mm-hmm. What C-list superhero with no flight, transportation, or speed?
He can't get us out of there, or she.
No. Or she, yes. Anything but their wit, because if I would just say any hero, of course Batman would be the first one to come up, but C-list characters. Just deep dive, any comic book genre.
I'm on a desert island?
Yeah, both of you.
I want
and you have one superhero.
Ollie Queen. He's the king of the desert island, man. He fucking became Green Arrow and shit. I wouldn't have to do anything. I'm like, go get us a meal.
Damn. All right.
Oliver Queen is my guy.
Oliver Queen? I am going to go...
Tom Hanks.
Wilson!
I'm going to go Jesus.
Wow.
No, go female god from Dogma, man.
No, well, because Jesus, I get wine and fish kind of on tap.
That's true. But to be fair, without Jesus, you got fish. You're on a desert island.
I don't know how to fish. Jesus, like, yeah, I'm hungry. Jesus, halibut. Ka-ching. Boom. I'm a little thirsty. You can top me off, Jesus.
He's not a genie.
I feel like the fish powers have been sorely underrated in the Jesus pantheon.
That'd be interesting to share a desert island with Jesus, man.
I'm
Just
surprised.
Be like, can you fucking talk to the fish like Aquaman? He's like, yeah, watch this.
Can you get us off this island? I'm not a genie. You can't wish on me. Yeah, can you call your dad?
Does that cover it, or did you have a second part?
Or did you want me to have like a real fucking superhero?
I have a 5-part question. No, just kidding. No, I'm
That
sorry.
was
Jack
it. It was a
Sparrow.
great
Jack
question.
Sparrow will get
It
you
wins
drink,
tickets,
right?
man. Well done. Thank you, brother. Excellent job. Good question. Sign that, yes. And the other one, too. All right, JC. We got one set of tickets left. Who we got? What's your name, young camper?
Hello, Shannon. I'm Shannon. How's it going, Kevin? And
Spell.
Shannon. Shanon. Shannon.
S-H.
Shannon.
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 I gotta get my fucking hearing checked,
Yeah,
man. I
yeah,
can literally hear nobody.
I am talking to the
Did
microphone.
you hear that?
I'm all right.
I did hear Shannon.
Have you heard every name?
I was a little misty on Anand at first, but I think we got there.
I gotta
But
check
yeah.
my fucking
There's
hearing.
no D in mine. It's just Shannon.
Shanand.
Just Shannon. You got
Shannon,
it. You got it
everyone
right.
give it up for Shannon, man. Shannon, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. First of all, I think one of those Funko Pops is up there to give to somebody, so you can give it to somebody.
There is.
And
There's a
so
pop
you can
here
give
that we're
give
saving
that
to
to
the
somebody.
end,
Not to
yeah.
me, because I already had it.
I know. I understand you guys keep being given fucking copious amounts.
But
of
the
these
other
things.
one that we wanted you to sign is very special to us, and we will keep that.
That one
We
there.
will treasure that for always. First of all, me and Jamie, we were at the Alex Theater this one night. Maybe you can guess which night we were there.
Last Thursday.
No, different night.
The night of?
Yes, the night of. And unfortunately, we had tickets to the second show. You did two
Oh,
shows.
you guys got screwed, man.
Yeah, god dang it. All right, and to rub it in even more, you know, we got to hear, we were in line, and we got to hear, like, the audience and stuff on your first show. It was like, damn, you were knocking it out of the park on that first show. Like, how the hell did you do that?
I killed myself trying to do that.
You killed it. You really killed it out there, like, for
Tried,
real.
man.
But
Tried to murder 'em.
so, but the point is, we're real close to the same age. Like, we're almost exactly the same age. I just turned 49, 48, and you scared the shit out of me for weeks because every time I had a pain anywhere after that, I was, he's my age and shit, and it's like, oh, this is the big one. I was like fucking Sanford and Son and shit. So I went to the doctor because of you. And got checked out, and he's like, "Yo, you're fine. Get the fuck out of here. You're fine." So, you know, he checked me really good. He's like, I wish I had stats like you know. And I'm like, okay, great. Whew. So then I felt fine after that.
That's good. That's
but,
good.
But you know, but thanks anyway. It made me feel
I'm
better.
glad
You made me feel scared and then not scared. So
I'm glad
you know,
to be
it was
of
like
service.
a fun.
There have been a few folks on social media since the heart attack who sent pictures of themselves in the hospital, like the picture that I took and shit, going, I listened to you, and then my heart hurt, and I went in and triple bypass and shit.
You
And
know,
then
that-
I've also
those
heard
would be-
an equal amount of stories of people going like, your fucking heart episode scared me, and I felt bad, and I went to the hospital, and they told me I was crazy. You
Right?
know,
Yeah,
so
that was
fucking-
me. That was me. You're fine.
So I've
you
heard
like
both.
You like ate something or some shit. Okay. Okay. So my question is definitely for both of you guys. You know, because I've been working on, you know, creative projects my whole life, different ones, and sort of excluding ones that you are commissioned to do, excluding ones that you are doing with other people and you have deadlines and money and things that motivate you.
Right.
I'm sure there's like personal projects that you've worked on and you've finished to completion, if you will. And I've always had a real hard time because I get real excited about a project. I just have that creative energy and that spark, and I'm working on it, and then either like I'll have another idea and start working on that, and like forget about that one, or it just goes downhill. Like the spark kind of goes away. That initial, you know, feeling you've got your girlfriend, you're looking at the other girl, like that meme, you know, and so. How do you maintain that so that you can complete a project? You know, how do you stay motivated in one?
Uh-oh. Hold on, he's got a spare.
And I know that you. Jesus.
I think that once he's got it, then you'll be good.
Okay, and I know you guys could do it, which is why I'm here asking you the questions. So, can you speak to that? Like, can you help me out? What can I do? What do you do?
I spin a lot of plates for that very reason, because not everything happens. And when I began my career, I was only doing one thing, trying to make movies. And I made a movie and somebody bought it, and then people were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, make another movie. And I pitched it and they liked it and we made it. So that's what I would do. That's how I lived the first 3 years of my career, was making one movie at a time per year or every other year or something like that. And then that gets frustrating because you put all your eggs in one basket, and so you're waiting for news. Like I remember like sitting by the phone for 3 months waiting for like Chasing Amy phone call, just for them to be like yes or no, anything and shit like that. And every day you wake up and you're just fucking willing the phone to ring and stuff like that. So I don't ever want to live like that again. At an early point in my career, I was like, look, just have other shit to do, like be doing other shit. So I started spinning a bunch of plates. So the only reason you see like me doing as many things as I do is because I'm terrified of doing one thing and having that one thing not come to fruition. So, you know, there's plenty of stuff that I've talked about wanting to do over the last few years. Case in point, Hit Somebody, a hockey movie that became 2 hockey movies that became a hockey miniseries and is still a hockey fantasy in my head. 7 scripts written, but no concrete home for it.
You've
yet.
got unfinished things too.
Oh,
is what you're
absolutely.
saying.
Are you
Like,
kidding me? I have
yeah.
more unfinished things than finished things. You only see the finished
Everybody,
things. But
yeah.
to be fair, I'm always out there talking about the unfinished things or the things that I want to make, because that's the only way I can make shit happen. Throw your hat over the wall and start talking about it and saying, I'm going to do this. And you just create the truth. Like, you know, you're willing it into existence. Sometimes that absolutely fucking works. Case in point, my entire fucking cinematic career, even up to and including fucking Tusk and Yo-Go's.
Yeah.
You don't get to make those movies without willing them to
I saw it all the way to the end.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
But the but the notion of like making all of it happen, like you just can't. So Hit Somebody has taken me a while to find a home for. Moose Jaws has taken me a while to find a home for. I don't let them go. I'm not like they're done. I just let them quietly simmer on the back burner while something else moves forward and work on that for a little bit. But I keep them all alive. I'm never like, this is done and it will sit in a drawer and nobody will ever fucking see it and stuff. There's always hope. Keep
You
hope
sound like
alive.
the voice in my head. This is over. No one's ever going to see, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know.
I refuse to believe that. I honestly believe that, like, and I've said it before, you can have everything you want in this life. All your dreams will come true. They just will never come true on the schedule you want them to, and never in the way that you think they will. So if you nurture it enough and shit like that, you get what you want. I'm starting to get things now that I stopped wanting 10 years ago, but I did want them at one point. So even now I'm like, oh shit, you wanted this at one point, so keep shit alive. Like, and that way you can close those circles. But no, if that helps you by any stretch of the imagination, there are a lot of things that I haven't fucking been able to do yet, that I've tried over and over again. But you just hold out hope and ever forward, hoping that like before I leave this world, I'll get to do all the things that I've set in motion. If I don't fucking matter. I've already done enough, but that's what keeps me going. Is like, no, Hit Somebody will happen. It ain't happening yet, but it's gonna happen. And if I have to take alternative routes to get there, like, you know, I put up a couple episodes of the script on Smodcast and stuff. And that got us traction in this other place, and now Hit Somebody is going to come to life in a different way than I intended, but would probably be on the road to where I eventually want to go. It's just going to take time. And so I've learned to give it time. Like, if the universe, you can't fucking force the universe to do everything you want. I'm lucky to be able to fucking force it to do Tusk. That's fucking amazing and shit like that. But some shit takes a little bit longer, so I don't get shitty about it. I just busy myself with other things. A perfect example is my kid recently. My kid's an actress. She didn't go to college this year. It's all about fucking auditioning and stuff like that. She's like, I'm gonna be an actress, working actress. I'm like, great, fantastic. Just know that it doesn't work according to your schedule and stuff like that. So, you know, she's had a tough year of it in terms of like what she hoped for and what she wound up doing have been two different things. So a couple months ago, her and her friend got busy making this EP. They made this fucking EP. They got a band called The 10th. It's really nice, like bubblegum punk stuff, man. Her and her friend Taylor. I'm like, when I heard it, she was like, "You want to listen to my EP?" And I was like, "Okay," you know, fucking hoping that it wasn't terrible. And it was actually fucking legit good. Where I was like, "Well done" and shit like that. And she's like, "You're looking at me like you're surprised," you know. And so she was busy with this fucking thing, and then out of nowhere, she just got the role of a fucking lifetime. And she was like, oh my God. And it changes her life. Like it's fucking magic.
It wasn't what she was originally.
It was something she was originally interested in, but it was out of her reach and went away.
Oh, wow.
She went and worked on something else, didn't think about it, and then it came back to life. So I was like, the lesson you got to fucking take from this is never one thing. Always as many things as you can do. That way you won't stare at a fucking phone waiting for it to happen. You won't fucking sit there and be like, why didn't I get this? You'll be doing something else. You'll be living your life and making your art while somebody else is making decisions about that. But it ain't gonna hold you up. You could still fucking be creating stuff. So that's what I do. I just fucking start a lot of projects and I keep them all fucking going. Some move forward at a quicker pace than others and stuff, but I keep them all fucking idling because you never know which one it's gonna be. You gotta pivot from thing to thing and whatnot. Unless you like downtime or you like being bored. And I hate downtime. I don't like vacations. Fucking Labor Day weekend sucked for me. I'm like, nobody's working. So for me, I like to keep everything kind of moving. Even over the weekend, I was like, I'm gonna go back into a fucking script and just fuck with it and shit like that. You?
A buddy of mine, a guy named John Rogers, who was the showrunner of Leverage and The Librarians and the Jackie Chan Adventures. He used to have a poster above his computer, or just a couple of words, just this big fucking text that said, "Done is the engine of more."
Explain that
What?
again. Do
Say
it
that
again.
again.
Slow.
Done
meaning D-O-N-E?
Yes, done is the engine of more.
Done is the engine of more. More M-O-R-E?
Yes.
Explain that phrase.
The idea that completion breeds Genesis, breeds completion, breeds Genesis. You will do more if you finish more. And Hollywood is littered with the first act and a half of screenplays.
It's true.
Of people who just kind of start and kind of lose their way and I didn't figure it out or whatever. And it's hard. It's unmistakably nut-crushingly hard to do this work. But you have to fall in love with the endings of your stories because otherwise you won't be incentivized to get there. You have to love the downhill entering the finale where the wind of stories in your hair and the characters are telling you what they should be doing and you are just living, you're inhaling it as it goes. You have to be finishing stuff. Now, whether or not that shit gets sold, whether or not you manage to interest anybody in it, nobody will call you for an idea that you haven't written. Nobody will ever ask you for the script that you haven't finished yet. They will want to know, what can you show me? And my hard drive is littered with just hundreds of ideas and dozens of treatments and a good 8 pilots that I wrote, a good couple of movies that I wrote because I fell in love with them. At some point I'll go back to the other 100 ideas and find the 1 or 2 that I still like and all right, there's something there, but it's probably never going to happen because I didn't already write it. I wasn't so fucking enthused by it that I didn't sit down today and start writing it. And those are idle fantasies and it's great to have them. But you gotta finish because if you don't finish, you can't show. And if you can't show, you don't get paid. If you don't get paid, you don't do more. Done is the engine of more. Find ways to finish. Find ways to complete. I mean, these ideas he's talking about is he's got a script for Hit Somebody. He's got a script for these things. He did as much work as he can until the moment where somebody else has to get involved.
But you're not grinding each one until it's finished, though. You will stop one and go to another, but you still will finish some.
Finish.
Because that's what you're saying.
No,
You gotta
finish.
though,
You gotta
because,
finish.
Because
You have hundreds of treatments.
It's great to have a couple of things in that, hey, I've got 5 pilots. If somebody wants one, I got one. You don't like that one? Here's another one. Here's another one. But unless you finish, unless you get to the end of it, unless you find a way to fall in love with finishing stuff, you just won't. Because the beginnings are easy. The beginnings, it's like a fucking romance.
Right.
Everybody's got a good idea.
And that's right. That's what I'm saying. It's getting past that.
You got to get past. You got to push yourself past. You got to fall in love with finishing.
And even to exercise the demon of not finishing. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. Just complete, finish. Because otherwise, if you leave one behind unfinished, the next one's easier to leave behind unfinished.
Right.
The next one, and then it becomes a trail of series of 20 pages of something that doesn't coalesce into anything when all put together and stuff.
Right.
So finish, because you start and you're in love with the idea, even if it starts becoming work and stuff like that, work through. Nothing worthwhile is easy. And everybody's got a great idea for a cool story, but not everyone fucking writes a script. Not everyone makes a movie because it requires you to sometimes go further than just having a good idea. Go to a place you're uncomfortable. Go to a place, and not like, uncomfortable where you're like, I'm sucking my own dick in front of the computer. I'm not talking about that. Although if you can do it, put a camera on that.
It's
make
not
some money and
comfortable
shit.
at all.
It's like a screenplay is 3 acts, right? Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1 is lust. Act 1 is I saw that woman, she's fucking hot as hell. I cannot wait to get in that.
Or
Awesome.
man.
Or man.
It
It is the heat of romance. It is the heat of passion.
Yeah.
The second act is fucking misery. It's oh Jesus, you were not what I thought you were going to be. You turned out to love shit that I don't actually like
Already?
so much anymore.
In the second act?
Already. The third act is resolution. The third act is we've resolved to find the things in each other that we're good at, to find the things in each other we can respond with, and to together make it to the end of this fucking story. And everybody falls in love. Everybody's got that first act because it's hot and it's awesome and it's nothing but immediate fucking like pleasure centers of your brain firing off. Everybody gives up in the second act because it's fucking hard. But you gotta find a way to push through.
Good.
It gets good because once you're all on the same page, literally and figuratively, once you all understand the nature of your relationship, then it's fucking awesome. That's what like marriage is. And you're gonna be married to this thing for the rest of your life because you wrote it and you finished it. And if you do it well, and if you guys find a way to work through your difficulties of the second act and make that shit work out, it is nothing but joy once you get to the end of that thing. And you finished it. And you're done. And even the worst script is a script, and you can rewrite it. You can make it better. You can go to counseling. You can figure out ways. Invite some friends over. Hey, guys, you know what we really need? A third person in this fucking bedroom.
You could submit that shit to the Reading Rain Bros, and they'll fucking tell you.
I'll try it. I'll try it.
Tell you if you're on the right track.
But unless you finish it, none of that stuff gets to happen. It can't do anything for you until it's done. So incentivize the being done. As opposed to here's a new shiny idea over in the corner that I'm totally in lust with. I'm going to write that instead. Like, no, stay. I'll get to you when I'm done. Get done.
Also, in finishing, you own the words don't own you. It's a dangerous precedent to set when people are like, I'm blocked. That's letting the words own you. Never be blocked. Just write something. Write anything. Start fucking writing like Nicholson in The Shining, if that's what it takes. Do 400 pages of like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You'll break through, but you have to keep fucking writing. If the words own you, you're fucked, man. You master these words. They come out of you. You're the one that puts them together in such a magical way that they have an impact on people. It's a fucking spell. So just make sure you finish the incantation. Halfway, fucking that's how Voldemort gets in.
You're not going to summon. You're not going to summon anything, right?
I think that was a great question, man. Great answer.
All
Give
right.
it up for him. He wins tickets.
Yeah. Speaking of things that were bad but we finished, we started a podcast, me and Jamie. So
what is the name of the podcast?
It is called Married with TV. MarriedWithTV.com.
Married with TV. And is that a Twitter I see? Married.
Yeah, Married with. If you just MarriedWithTV.com.
A podcast, 20 years in the making. Only now we actually recorded. Is you and Jamie
that's
doing
just
it
me
together?
and her just bullshitting about TV and shit, like, and we've been doing it our whole lives, and so we should read this shit. We've been saying that for 10 years.
Boom.
And so finally, like by now you're really good at podcasting. Like you really have this like flow going. This is where the sausage is made, and we're just learning how to get it for it. So
you can hear me doing that on the earliest episodes of Smodcast, man. I think episode 2 of Smodcast, me and Mosier are sitting around, and I'm like, do you know how many fucking followers I got on MySpace, bitch? And he's like, how many? I was like, there's over 1 million people, man. If we could get every one of them to give us $1, we'd have $1 million to go make a movie with. Isn't that fucked up? And then a year later, somebody was like, here's Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I don't feel we created the idea, but we were kind of on that path. We were putting it together like, hey, man, there's something to be done with the audience here and stuff. So you can hear the earliest fumblings of two people trying to figure out what a podcast is in those early episodes of Smodcast. It's not pretty. We're figuring it out. It's not like we hit the ground fucking running and stuff. By the time I hooked up with this guy, I'd had a few hundred hours talking with other people and stuff.
Yeah.
You were like fucking Tom Hanks in that thing you do. Like, come and join the Smodcast Galaxy of Stars.
Who would you be then in the movie?
I'm Steve Zahn.
Yeah. The Oneaters.
Hey, man, this sounds great.
That's a great pull, but I'll be honest with you. In my heart, you'll always be Liv Tyler. Ladies and gentlemen, have you had a good time this evening? We ain't got a show without the smart man to my left, the guy who figured out that fucking luggage analogy in that fucking movie. And I can't wait to go home and fucking tell my kid, do you know why he worked at a luggage factory? And she'll be like, not again! You know, and start crying and shit. Give it up for Marc Bernardin, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Fatman on Batman for this week. And forever. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernard.
Tune in next time. Same fat time, same fat channel, Spodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Good night, everybody.